NCE 2026 National Counselor Examination Certification Exam Tips. All you need to know. Question 1. According to Piaget, a child under age 10 judges wrongdoing primarily by the intention behind the act, the amount of damage caused, the person's age, whether they got caught. Younger children are in the heteronymous morality stage, focusing on objective consequences. Question 2. Kohlberg's theory of moral development consists of how many levels? 2, 3, 6, 8. Kohlberg has 3 levels: pre-conventional, conventional, post-conventional, and 6 stages. Question 3. Which theorist is associated with the zone of proximal development ZPD? Piaget, Vygotsky, Erikson, Freud. ZPD is the gap between what a learner can do alone and with help. Question 4. What is the ID according to Freud? The rational part of the mind, the moral compass, the source of primal drives, and the pleasure principle, the conscious self. The ID is unconscious and seeks immediate gratification. Question 5. In counseling ethics, informed consent should be discussed only at the first session, only if the client asks, at the beginning and throughout the counseling process. Never, it's implied. Informed consent is an ongoing process. Question 6. If a counselor believes a colleague has committed an ethical violation, they should first report them to the police, attempt to resolve it informally with the colleague, if appropriate, tell the client, post it on social media. Standard Ethical Codes, ACA/NBCC, recommend informal resolution first. Question 7. Dual relationships are generally discouraged because they are illegal, can impair professional judgment and increase risk of exploitation, cost too much, make the counselor too famous. Maintaining boundaries is essential for the client's safety. Question 8. Which parenting style is characterized by high expectations but low warmth/responsiveness? Because I said so. Authoritative, authoritarian, permissive, uninvolved. Authoritarian parents are high in control and low in warmth. Question 9. In Erikson's stages, what is the primary conflict for adolescents? Trust versus mistrust, initiative versus guilt, identity versus role confusion, integrity versus despair. Adolescents seek to find their sense of self and personal identity. Question 10. What does a z-score represent in testing? The average score, the distance from the mean in standard deviation units, the percentage of correct answers, the time taken to finish. A z-score of plus 1.0 is 1 standard deviation above the mean. Question 11. Confidentiality can be breached when a client is 5 minutes late, the counselor is bored, there is a clear and imminent danger to the client or others, a neighbor asks. Duty to warn/protect is a legal and ethical exception to confidentiality. Question 12. Transference occurs when the counselor gives the client a gift, the client projects feelings for someone else onto the counselor, the counselor moves to a new office, the session is over. Transference is a core concept in psychodynamic therapy. Question 13. Which counseling theory focuses on unconditional positive regard? Cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT. Person-centered therapy, Rogerian. Psychoanalysis. Gestalt therapy. Carl Rogers emphasized empathy, genuineness, and unconditional positive regard. Question 14. Empowerment in counseling refers to giving the client money, helping the client gain control over their life and decision-making, telling the client what to do, hiring the client. Counselors facilitate the client's ability to advocate for themselves. Question 15. What is the focus of family systems theory? The individual's past. The family as an emotional unit where members are interdependent. Improving grades. Biological genetics only. It looks at patterns of interaction within the family system. Question 16. Group cohesion is best described as members fighting with each other, the we-ness or sense of belonging within a group, the size of the room, the cost of the group session. Cohesion is a critical factor for success in group therapy. Question 17. In solution-focused brief therapy (SFBT), the miracle question is used to test religious beliefs, help clients envision a future without their problem, identify a medical cure, ask for a raise. It shifts the focus from the problem to the desired outcome. Question 18. Which of the following is a symptom of counselor burnout? Increased energy, emotional exhaustion and cynicism, high job satisfaction, winning an award. Burnout involves physical and emotional depletion. Question 19. Cultural competence requires a counselor to know everything about every culture, be aware of their own biases and understand the client's worldview, avoid working with different cultures, only speak one language. It is an ongoing process of self-awareness and learning. Question 20. What is reliability in psychological testing? The test measures what it claims to measure. The consistency of the test results over time, the popularity of the test, the length of the test. Reliability is about stability and consistency, validity is about accuracy.